Good evening. A danger is lurking in the backcountry of the Idaho mountains. Emergency crews in Bonneville and Fremont County, Idaho, and Teton County, Wyoming say our nice weekend comes with an extreme avalanche danger. Those are the terrifying moments captured on a GoPro as a snowmobiler gets caught in an avalanche. Search and rescue crews across the Snake River Plain say the threat of this happening to you this weekend is pretty high. Some of the biggest areas of concern for rescuers are Mount Jefferson, Rays Peak, Two Top, and Lions Head in Fremont County. You see them all there on your screen. All of Teton County, Wyoming is also on alert. And in Bonneville County, the threat isn't just areas only touched by the backcountry lovers.
We had two different slides on the Groom Trail system, and that's an area that's not typically prone to that.
Search and rescue crews say they are ready to respond to any emergency. They just hope they don't have to. In Teton County, Wyoming, the search and rescue crew there has started the Backcountry Zero program. The goal is to eliminate all preventable backcountry deaths in that area. And if you are planning on going into the backcountry, here is what you need to know. First, make sure you have safety equipment. That includes a backpack, a beacon, probe, and a shovel. Second, plan ahead. Check the conditions where you are going. You can do that on avalanche.org. And finally, tell someone where you're going and when you plan on returning. So for a look at how things are going outside, it looks pretty nice out there with the sunshine. Taja Davis in for Chris Nessman. Good evening, Taja.
Good evening, Chris. Good evening, everybody. So we won't be seeing a lot of snow activity for the next couple of days, but right now, as we take a look over Idaho Falls, 8 degrees in this area. It is very chilly. There aren't that many clouds in the sky, which is why it is a little chillier. The warmer air isn't sticking with us so much. I do want to go ahead and show us the current temperatures across the region. 17 degrees in Rexburg, 18 in Du Bois, 15 in Pocatello, 22 in Montpelier. So we're very, very chilly. And you can see here the very cool light blue tones, and up here in Chalice, Salmon, Stanley, purple. Very, very cold, -20. So please bundle up and stay warm. And the wind chill, as I said, it's about 8 degrees in Idaho Falls, but it feels like 2 degrees. So it's pretty much that's going to be the story for the whole entire rest of the night. It's going to be very cold. -7 as an average across the region for tonight. So back to you, Chris.
Thank you, Taja. The winter weather hammering the area isn't just rough for drivers and stepping outside, but also pedestrians. With so many sidewalks unshoveled and ice-packed, emergency rooms are reporting a jump in weather-related injuries. In the past 24 hours, ERs around the Mountain West say they've seen a lot of weather-related injuries. At one Oregon hospital, nearly a quarter of all ER visits are weather-related injuries. Experts say the #1 thing you can do to stop an injury is to take action and start clearing the sidewalks.
They haven't been able to walk even outside the door in 3 days, and so we're trying to at least get them access to the bus stop and to be able to walk around the block.
We checked with our local emergency rooms just a few days ago. They say they haven't seen a major increase, but they did tell us that when we see weather like we're experiencing, there is an uptick in the ER visits. And if you work in the elements, OSHA is reminding employers of their responsibilities, which include making sure that you clear snow to prevent falls, evaluating load bearing on roofs, and using ladders correctly. If you think your employer is breaking the law, you can file a complaint by calling OSHA. You can find that information online at localnews8.com. The winter months are some of the worst months for depression to set in. It is estimated 10 to 20% of the population suffers from seasonal affective disorder. Some Idahoans have been feeling isolated, so they're reaching out for help in record numbers. Emma Grady has this story.
The Idaho Suicide Prevention Hotline is a calm, quiet place where trained volunteers listen to problems large and small.
We have people who are just sad and need somebody to talk to, need some reassurance, a little help through their sad day.
This volunteer says she's a born listener.
Over the years, I always found myself being that person that my friends came to talk about their problems.
This wall is filled with inspiring messages, reminding volunteers to care for themselves before they can help others. Reminders needed because this year has demanded more from volunteers than ever before.
First 2 weeks of January, our call volume has gone up even since the end of 2016. So we've had our really 2 highest weeks of call volume since launch in January.
Streets and sidewalks like these have kept people inside for far too long.
We're not as close to our neighbors to reach out for help.
The hotline says they're getting the same number of emergency calls, but more people are calling just to connect.
We want to help you try to find things that may make you feel better and get you through this moment of crisis.
A conversation some may find hard to start, but even for that, there's help.
I've been doing this for 4 years now and don't foresee ever stopping.
Ian McGrady, 6 on your side.
It has been a hard winter for everyone, so if you find yourself needing someone to talk to, they want to hear from you. The Idaho Suicide Prevention Hotline is on your screen. It's 1-800-273-TALK. Again, that is 1-800-273-TALK. And our winter weather alert coverage doesn't stop now. Your full forecast is coming up at 5:17, and then just a few minutes after that, a look at the dangers of an ice storm hitting the Midwest. As always, you can find the latest weather online at localnews8.com. An update now on the CenturyLink internet outage. If you are one of the 5,000 customers without service for the last few days, a representative tells us services should be back on now. CenturyLink crews were working around the clock to get services back on, and that was cut by a third party. And here is a tip. If you have a DSL modem and your service is still out, you are advised to unplug your model for about 15 seconds before turning it back on. Turning now to the Trump transition. Tonight, we know 2 apostles from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints will attend the inauguration of Donald Trump. In a statement, a church spokesperson said the decision is a way for Mormon leadership to support the process of a peaceful transfer of power. The First Presidency and members of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles have been attending inaugurations since 1905. The Trump transition is hitting a new speed bump as well tonight. This Martin Luther King weekend, President-elect Donald Trump on Twitter targeting civil rights icon and Congressman John Lewis. This after Lewis announced plans to boycott his inauguration and says he believes the Russians helped Trump get elected. Even a Republican senator criticized Trump's tweet, saying John Lewis and his talk have changed the world.
He took action marching from Selma to Montgomery. They fractured his skull because of the color of his skin. But John Lewis never stopped marching for justice and equality for all people.
Trump is also dealing with the Senate Intelligence Committee, which launched an investigation Friday. That was after new details showed Trump's national security advisor, Michael Flynn, texted with the Russian ambassador on Christmas Day. With the inauguration less than a week away, major preparations are underway to make sure that everything goes off without a hitch. That includes making sure everyone, including the president-elect and his family, are safe. Brianne Carter on this story for us tonight.
With anywhere from 700,000 to 900,000 folks expected to converge on Washington for the inauguration, security is top of mind.
Paramount is safeguarding the democratic process and its ideals, as well as protecting the visitors and the community.
To do that, more than 28,000 law enforcement officials will be working around the clock, each agency literally working side by side here at the Multi-Agency Communications Center known as the MAC in Northern Virginia. Visiting the MAC Friday, Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson said there is no credible threat, but he said given the current threat environment, citing the recent attack in Germany, changes have been made when it comes to security perimeters.
More heavily fortified against unauthorized vehicles by dump trucks, heavy trucks, trucks with cement, buses, and things of the like.
With road closures starting next Thursday downtown, Metro is prepping for additional riders throughout inauguration weekend.
In addition to the local, state, and federal assets that are assisting the Metro Transit Police, we also have 14 other transit properties coming in to assist us as well.
The Department of Homeland Security today saying that they have already received 99 permits for people wanting to demonstrate on the days surrounding the inauguration.
Some pro and some con.
63 demonstrations planned the day of the swearing in. And as the days wind down towards inauguration, officials say the permit numbers could continue to go up.
Back here closer to home, Pocatello city leaders want your help enhancing outdoor opportunities in the community. The Pocatello Bureau of the BLM is requesting a grant from the Idaho Department of Parks and Rec. And to do that, part of the request is to get some public input on what things that you want to see. So if you'd like your voice to be heard, you can do it one of 3 ways. First, you can send an email to cpatterson@blm.gov. You can see all this information on your screen. You can also call them at 208-478-6340. And finally, you can drop them a note in the mail. The address is 4350 Cliffs Drive in Pocatello. That's zip code 83204. A mystery of a missing woman is solved. Tonight, we're on the decades-old case of a woman living a life with her kidnapper. Plus, a little later, new concerns over Nutella coming up, what some are saying about the risk of cancer. And after your full forecast, a dangerous ice storm across the Midwest. We show you the problems facing millions of Americans at this hour.
And there's not much going on today with weather, but it is very, very cold. It's going to be very dry as well. So when we come back, I will give you my first alert forecast.
Local people, local news. You're watching Local News 8 at 5.
We do have some breaking news just coming into the Local News 8 newsroom on St. Clair Road here in Idaho Falls. What we do know right now is that one person has been shot on St. Clair Road. We don't know the condition or how this person was shot, but we do know that paramedics along with police are staging in the area of St. Clair Road. Right now, our Febin Kasahun is headed to this scene to gather the latest. We will have more as we get it on localnews8.com and right here tonight at 6 and 10. Turning now to news from around the nation, we are starting in Florida. That's where case is closed. A stolen infant reunited with her true family after years of being raised by the woman accused of kidnapping her. ABC's Michelle Franzen has the details from our New York bureau.
An emotional moment in a South Carolina court between a teenager and the woman she had always thought was her mother. This weekend, that 18-year-old reunited in the police department with her biological family after police say she was kidnapped as a newborn.
Never gave up hope. I always thought I'd find it. Always thought I'd find it.
I have been praying and praying for this day.
Back in 1998, the case grabbed national attention, even featured on America's Most Wanted. A baby named Kamaya Mobley, snatched from a Florida hospital just 8 hours after she was born.
I just want to know where my baby is at. I just want my baby back.
Investigators say the woman who took the child, Gloria Williams, allegedly told the family she was a nurse and told nurses that she was part of the family. Police launched an all-out search, but for 18 years, nothing until now.
So in South Carolina, we found an 18-year-old young woman with the same date of birth. She had an inclination beginning probably a couple of months ago that she may have been involved in this in some way.
Police arrested the now 51-year-old Williams, who they say moved to South Carolina, changed the baby's name, and raised the girl as her own. Okay. On Friday, the teen openly sobbed in court, talking to Williams.
She has a lot to process. She has a lot to think about, as you can imagine. I can't even begin to comprehend it.
You know, it seems like sometimes when you pray so long, you're thinking that God don't hear your prayers, but he heard it.
Michelle Franzen, ABC News, New York.
Investigators say 2 tips led them to South Carolina, where they located the teenagers. Officials say the young woman did provide a DNA sample, which allowed authorities to confirm that she was the missing baby. Continuing our news from around the nation, we head next to North Carolina. Look at these flames, a massive fire at a Baptist church. Several fire departments battled the fire. It broke out around 3 o'clock this morning. We're told no one was hurt, and we don't know the cause of this fire. The final stop, Vandenberg Air Force Base in California. SpaceX launched a Falcon 9 this morning. This comes 4 months after a Falcon 8 rocket exploded on the pad in Cape Canaveral, Florida in September. This is the first of 7 planned launches. Tasha Davis here now. Florida would be very nice. So would California.
Yes, Florida and California would be very, very nice. But as we are here in beautiful Idaho, let's go and take a quick live look over Pocatello. Beautiful view with the snow on the mountains. It's very, very, very cold outside, though, folks. As of right now, it's about 15 degrees in the Pocatello area. So really, we just want to make sure that we bundle up. It's going to be very, very dry today as well. But I do want to mention that there is a flood warning in the Central Mountains area, and that's possibly because it has gotten a teeny bit warmer, so all of that snow is melting. So we do have this flood warning here. So those of you in that area, please watch out. Be careful if you're driving. Current conditions right now, we are seeing 18 degrees in Soda Springs, 17 in Rexburg, 13 in Arco, so it is very cold out there. The winds aren't too much of an issue today, though. And I do want to go ahead and look at our Viper radar. Nothing's really happening, guys. We are going to be staying pretty dry for the next couple of days. Not that many clouds in the sky as well. You can see the little sprinkles of snowfall kind of heading up through the Snake River Plain into Wyoming, but nothing too crazy at all. Now, as we go ahead and take as we take a look at the forecast across the region, tonight, again, it's going to be very cold. -18 in Island Park, -5 in Aberdeen, 3 in American Falls, -7 in Idaho Falls. We come down here, 11 in Preston, -13 in Pinedale, and -20 in Jackson. But as we move on to tomorrow, we're going to be staying around freezing, which sounds great compared to what we've been seeing for the past couple of weeks. 20 in Rexburg, 22 in Ashton, 26 in Driggs, the hot spot there, guys, and 14 in McKay, 6 in Salmon and in Chalice. Now, as we take a look at our 8-day forecast, what I want to go ahead and point out real quick is that we're going to be pretty dry tomorrow going into Monday. We're not going to be getting any real chances of precipitation until we get into Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And these are the days where we're going to be seeing a lot of those snow showers and rainfall as well. Going into Pocatello, here we can see that our temperatures are going to be bouncing around 20s, 30s, which is nice. We can see on Wednesday for Pocatello, it's going to be 34 degrees, which is nice and warm, but it will be snowing as well. And then going into Jackson, same thing here, nice and sunny tomorrow, and then we're going to start seeing some clouds happen throughout the rest of the week. And as we go into Blackfoot as well, same situation here. We're going to be bouncing around from the 20s and 30s.
I bet you never thought as a California girl that you would say 20s and 30s was
it's
nice.
Warm, right? Exactly. But you can feel the difference. Like,
absolutely.
I mean, once it hits about 30, you're like, it's warm.
You break
nice.
out those shorts and t-shirt.
Exactly. Time to go to the beach.
All right. Thanks so much, Tasha. So let's continue talking weather tonight. And we're talking ice for millions of people, 20 million to be exact. A powerful winter storm in the nation's midsection is proving brutal for those 20 million Americans. ABC's Adrian Bankert continues our winter weather watch from Wichita, Kansas tonight.
Overnight, millions of Americans from the southern plains to the mid-Atlantic impacted by a deadly winter storm, leading to treacherous conditions. The freezing rain and ice causing a 20-plus car chain reaction pileup in Wichita, Kansas.
I could just see every single car that was coming to hit me, and my airbag deployed, and then my head got whacked on the steering wheel like 5 different times.
And on a St. Louis highway, ice sending this black SUV fishtailing before doing a complete 180. Barely missing other drivers. Ice forming on cars so thick, it creates a solid barrier on these windows. Concerns about power outages increasing. An inch of ice can add more than 750 pounds of extra weight to a 300-foot power line. That heavy ice upending and snapping trees in Illinois, branches smashing car windows.
A life-saving device gets a price cut at one national pharmacy. Still to come tonight, the new EpiPen cost. And right after the break, a warning for Nutella lovers. One group says the sweet treat could be causing cancer. We'll explain that coming up next. Oh, and coming up, bad news for Wells Fargo customers tonight, the major announcement that could impact the bank that you do business at.
Get First Alert weather anytime, on demand. Log on to localnews8.com.
A warning for Nutella lovers in tonight's Health Matters. A new study says one ingredient in it, palm oil, could lead to an increased cancer risk. The company who makes the sweet spread says it's safe. Here's Mara Scavacampo with the details.
The makers of Nutella fighting back against some not-so-sweet health claims that an ingredient in their chocolate and hazelnut spread could cause cancer.
It's a good wake-up call for understanding the potential ramifications of processing oils the way that we do.
This after food safety officials in Europe found palm oil used in Nutella poses a potential cancer risk. Palm oil, the most popular vegetable oil in the world, is found in everything from ice cream to pizza dough. But this new report says it can create carcinogens when processed at temperatures above 393 degrees. This is the case with Nutella. While researchers don't say consumers should stop eating palm oil products, they do say more study is necessary.
It's been never really pinpointed what is it about processed food that makes it so harmful for our health.
Now, Ferrero, the company behind Nutella, is running this new commercial in Italy.
Il nostro olio di palma è sicuro.
Saying their palm oil is safe. Adding in a statement to ABC News, when palm oil is refined correctly, it contains a lower level of contaminants than other vegetable oil. Mara Scavacampo, ABC News, New York.
CVS says it's cutting the price of a generic version of the EpiPen allergy treatment. The drugstore chain says it will sell a 2-pack of a new generic for $109.99. That's down from a previous price of $200. The drug company that manufactures the EpiPen came under fire last year. That was after it raised the price to more than $600 for a 2-pack. At-risk patients usually always carry 2 of the pens in case one fails or isn't enough to stop an allergic reaction. A live look over a beautiful Idaho Falls sunset tonight. Taja Davis back with one final look at your brutally cold forecast coming up. An update now on that breaking news we told you about just a few minutes ago. We are now learning that the victim in this shooting at the Meadowood Apartments on Woodruff, on St. Clair, which is near Woodruff and 25th, has been shot in the leg. Paramedics are at the scene. We also have a reporter headed the way. We will have more information on this story tonight at 10 and 6 o'clock along with localnews8.com. Let's turn things over now to Taja Davis with a look at our forecast. And it's cold in some places.
Yes, it is very cold. So let's go ahead and do a quick look at our 8-day forecast. I wasn't able to get to Blackfoot when I first did this. So taking a look here, we're going to be bouncing around from the 20s and 30s. Blackfoot right there, just barely making 30s on Wednesday and Thursday. And the big pattern here is that we're going to be pretty sunny for Sunday, a couple of clouds coming in Monday, Tuesday, and then boom, we're going to be hit with either rain showers or snow showers, and then we're going to be cloudy again for the rest of the week. And here's a quick look at Salmon as well. Pretty cold out there, guys.
It's a good time to just keep the coats and gloves handy.
Yes,
All right.
and put that heater up.
Thanks, Tasha. See you back here tonight at 6. Have a good night.